So let's talk about the word bias and what it means. Traditionally means to have a preference of one thing over another, or to be unfair to one thing because it doesn't fit your personal preferences. I'm not going from Webster's here, just off the top of my head. Bias isn't necessarily bad. You're biased towards a friend because they're your friend and you think they're wonderful. You're biased towards a brunette because you think brunettes are prettier. But bias has negative connotations because, people can be biased against a race or a religion or a sexual preference, and it leads to a lot of bad things. And there's some things that really shake you and sometimes make you very uncomfortable, and one of them is when you realize that you yourself are biased. And I had that realization today. I had an epiphany. I am biased. And I have tried not to be. I have tried to tell myself I'm not. But I am. And I feel clean admitting that. I don't know if I can come back from it, but it's where I'm at. Because after this movie, I think I can definitively say, with complete clarity, I fucking hate DC movies. Fucking hate them. Now, I've had this feeling for a while, but I could always mask it, okay? The Man of Steel series, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad, they have their defenders. But for the most part, people are in pretty much agreement that those movies are crap. And then Wonder Woman comes along and everybody goes, yay, Wonder Woman, it's such a great movie. And I went, well, the trench scene was good, but for the most part, the two romantic leads had about as much chemistry as Gal Gadot does with an actual pine tree, and the story is weak and lacking. Shazam comes out, everybody, oh, it's so fun, it's so great. All I see is an overstuffed muscle suit, which makes the guy's head look comically small, and it doesn't get me. Aquaman. Okay, Aquaman was kind of perversely fun, but it was still fucked up and crazy and not in the good way. And now this film. This film is a fucking mess. It is a fucking mess, and it offends me on so many fucking levels that I can't, that trying to figure out where to start with this pile of dog shit is literally causing my brain to hurt. Now, I want to state this before I get off on my own rants here, because I think this is important, and I was thinking about this coming out of the movie. Something that is problematic about the character of Harley Quinn in recent years is her suddenly being seen as a feminist icon, both in the comics and in these movies. And I know some people have a problem with this film and its placement as an empowerment message for women. Here's the thing. I am in no position to tell anybody what they can and cannot find empowering. I want to stress that. I am not coming at this movie as someone who sees it as a threat to my male ego or whatever the fuck. I'm coming at it from someone who generally thinks it's a shit film. But if you see it and you feel empowered by it, then good for you. Anything that gives you that oomph in life is needed. So I want to make that clear. If the Super Bowl this year taught us nothing else. It's that what one group of people finds a bit much and a bit disgusting, everyone else hails as a triumph of sexuality. Okay, fine and fucking dandy. I'm not going to debate that with you. I am going to say that I have problems with this movie from the base level all the way up through execution. Ironically, though, my problems with the Harley Quinn character are not really involved in this. I have real problems, and I talked about this way back in the day with the Suicide Squad review. I have major problems with the handling of the Harley Quinn character in recent years in both the movies and the comics. Major issues with it. In the same way I have problems with the character of 7 of 9 being held up as a sex symbol. I have big problems with the whole sex symbol, twisted love, and all of this being that Harley Quinn has being played up as these wonderful qualities and this empowerment thing, when in fact it is the result of horrible physical and emotional abuse. Now, maybe again you find her working past the abuse empowering. If you do, fine and dandy. I can see the argument. But for me, there's something icky about the way Harley Quinn is portrayed. And I blame the comics for this as much as I do the recent movies. It's not, this is one time I can say it's not the movies fucking it up. The comics have done it too. Harley Quinn has become the DC version of Deadpool. She is a highly marketable character that you can slap into tons of books and the fanboys are going to gobble it up because, you know, she's so edgy and she's so this and she's so that. Plus, she has titties. Now, ironically, again, her character portrayal is not my biggest problem. It's an issue because, again, I find it icky. But it's not the biggest issue because the main arc of the story is her trying to emancipate herself. It's in the fucking title. But it's still an issue. Let's get to the real crux of this. Let's talk about some issues. For a history lesson, visual aids. This is the Birds of Prey comic. For those who don't know, the Birds of Prey comic started in the late 90s by writer Chuck Dixon. And the story tells of Barbara Gordon, the former Batgirl, the one in the middle there, who after being crippled by the Joker and therefore no longer able to be Batgirl, still wants to be useful. She's a tech genius, and she becomes known as the Oracle, this person who is linked in to computers all over the world and finds all this information. However, because she can't go out and fight crime herself, she enlists the aid of Black Canary, Diana Lance, the one closest to me. All right, Diana Lance, at this time of the comic start, is having issues of her own. She's down on her luck. She lost her sonic scream ability somehow, and Barbara Gordon basically takes her in and says, we're going to work together. And the original series was very James Bondian. Barbara sent Black Canary out on these missions, and she'd go and, you know, have great adventures and all of these things. Later, they added the Huntress, Helena Bertinelli, who added the moral ambiguity in that she was someone who didn't have a problem with killing people, killing bad guys, so she fell out with the Batman, and of course nobody trusted her, but they took her in, and she added an interesting new character dynamic. Now let me ask you, just from that description, if you've never read the comic, I hope I did the description justice. Doesn't that sound like a great premise for a fucking movie? And not to sound too much like a male chauvinist pig, but doesn't that sound like a great premise for a strong female-led movie with some interesting dynamic characters? Does it? It does? Well, fuck that. This film, and again, ironically, the Harley Quinn character is not the one they fuck over, but they fuck over every other female DC fucking character. Every one of them they fuck over and get 100% wrong. Renee Montoya, The Question, fucked over. Huntress, fucked over. Black Canary, fucked over. Cassandra Cain, a girl who was raised by an assassin who didn't speak because the only language she spoke was violence, but then became Batgirl and sought redemption with the blessing of Barbara Gordon. Great character, great story arc. Fucked! And all of them fucked over so they could play supporting fucking joke characters to Harley fucking Quinn. Let's talk about Harley Quinn as a character in films. Harley Quinn only works as a secondary character. She does not work as a main character. She is a comedian, and a comedian needs a straight man. Let's put it in both my terms and your terms. Lou Costello needs Bud Abbott. It needs a serious sounding board for the comedy to bounce off of. This is a simple rule of comedy. Let's put in one you're familiar with. Remember those Pirates of the Caribbean movies and how much everybody loved Jack Sparrow in them? Or at least the first one. And then remember when they did the fourth one and Jack Sparrow was alone and didn't have Will and Elizabeth? And how much both those movies where he was the main character sucked because there was nobody to propel the story forward so he could be free to do goofy shit? The crazy character, the nuts character, needs a straight man. The best comic Harley Quinn was ever in was Gotham City Sirens, where she was in a trio with Poison Ivy and Catwoman, so she could be, there was balance. Oh yes, I almost forgot, because she's falling over. Meet Dr. Q, the latest member of the Drive Home Review family. I'm still the Claw Machine Master. I'm sorry I didn't introduce her, but I'm so mad about this movie. I'm kind of mad at her by proxy. Sorry, Q, not your fault. But anyway, when you just put the batshit crazy character out in front with none of her psychological weight to hold her down and give her a compelling story and just make the whole movie complete batshit insane, there's nothing to weight it down. You think you're creating this great message, but really it's just a bunch of crazy bullshit. I've never done crack, but I'm pretty sure this movie is what being on crack or cocaine is like. It's so manic, it's so fast-paced, it is an ugly, ugly film to look at. Why they... Obviously, it's supposed to be a sort of sequel to that god-awful Suicide Squad movie, which why you'd want to do something like that is beyond me. That movie was terrible. But the aesthetic for the Joker and Harley Quinn in the movie was so fucking ugly, so Florida douchebag ugly, and now they bathe the whole movie in it. It has an ugly look. The costumes in this are hideous. And I know they're going to become cosplay for every goth loser out there, but God, they are ugly. I haven't talked about, Harley Quinn herself, but let's do it in this movie. I'm going to be fucking honest here, people. Margot Robbie is not a good actor. I know everybody says she is. I know she's the new hot thing. And she has been for a while. That every movie she's in there, oh my God, she's so brilliant. Give her an Oscar nomination. I have not seen her in a single movie where she's even fucking decent, let alone good. She's the new Anne Hathaway, because Anne Hathaway was like that. Every movie she was in there for a while, people were like, oh, Anne Hathaway, Anne Hathaway. At this point, I wish they would give Margot Robbie an Oscar so that she would do exactly like Anne Hathaway did after she won hers and go the fuck away. And my God, she is so fucking bad in this movie. So fucking annoying. Doing her fake New York accent the whole time, and it's so fake and it's so forced. Everything about this performance is forced. The quirkiness, everything she does. Everything she fucking does, you feel, and they do it. That everything she fucking does, like they feel like they're winking at the audience going, quirky! And what's bad enough is she actually fucking does that. So why does this make me mad? Well, first of all, it's fucking irritating. This movie is like being in my 7th period intro class forever. It is so fucking irritating. Digging, it's like a power drill in your ear. This movie is exactly like Harley Quinn. It never shuts the fuck up. If someone's not yammering and talking, there's obnoxious music playing. God. So why does this bug me so much? Because, believe it or not, despite everything I have said, I am a fan of the original Harley Quinn character. In her original appearances in Batman the Animated Series, I am a fan. I love that Harley Quinn. Because the Batman the Animated Series crew, Bruce Timm and his guys, understood the balance between villain and tragic character. The balance between funny and sad. Their Harley Quinn was a side character, meaning she was used sparingly. They gave her 1 or 2 episodes that she carried. And they worked because in those episodes where she is the lead, or she is the primary character, they knew how to balance the goofiness with the pathos. And ever since, I'm going to say, it feels like ever since the first Arkham Asylum game, that subtlety of the character, that trauma of the character, that thing that made people fall in love with the character, that shit has all gone out the window. And all we focus on is the quirkiness and the girl power. That's not the Harley Quinn character. And yes, the comics have done that too. And it works just as badly there. You know, there's a Mystery Science Theater episode, Angel's Revenge, where at the end they make a joke that they've made an invention called the Shame-O-Meter, which measures how shameful movie performances are. I wish I had it for this movie, because I don't know who gives the worst fucking performance. The obvious candidate is Margot Robbie. She's fucking awful, but Ewan McGregor is also fucking awful. The script for this thing is some of the worst dribble dialogue I have ever heard in my fucking life. It is so bad. I can't even find words to describe the badness of this dialogue, and add bad dialogue with bad performances. As Jeff Foxworthy once said, you mix stagnant pond water with raw sewage and you ain't getting Avion. God. Fuck. You know, not only do I hate this movie. Clearly, I hate this movie, but I also hate everything this movie has generated. So, I haven't watched any reviews, but I've seen some news articles, which apparently this movie is not doing well. Good. Gives me hope for humanity. But what I find funny are two things. One is that in classic Hollywood style, when things go wrong, when a movie is bad and bombs, Hollywood will blame everything but the fact they made a bad movie. This one, they're blaming it on the title. That if they put Harley Quinn's name forward instead of the Birds of Prey, maybe people wouldn't have been confused. Fuck that. Harley Quinn has been all over the advertising for this. She's front row on the poster. All the trailers feature her. They make it very clear this is a Harley Quinn movie. So the name is not the reason this movie is doing badly. This movie is doing badly because it sucks. But there's another article that I think encapsulates the whole problem that I've been getting at. Because this movie is a hard R for the violence and the language, because we need this movie based on comic book characters to be ultra violent and for them to say fuck a lot. Because we have to convince the 40-some-odd-year-old fanboys that the hobby they have spent their entire life dedicated to isn't something that started out for kids. And before anybody says anything, yeah, Batman the Animated Series, which got Harley Quinn perfect because they created her, it was made for kids. But I saw this article, and the title of it was, Birds of Prey takes Harley Quinn away from teens and tweens. And that is the problem. Harley Quinn is not a hero for your teen or tween. If you have a problem with Bella Swan being a role model and the Twilight morality being foisted upon young girls, why the fuck would you want Harley Quinn, the victim of an abusive relationship, to be a role model for your fucking teen or tween? Pick any other female character in a comic book. I would even go so far as to say Black Cat or Catwoman, because at least they are in complete sexual control of their bodies and actions. They're not acting out from years of abuse. This review feels more like it's not only been a review of movies, but of comic books and comic book culture. So I'm sorry I'm off the subject. But let me make this crystal fucking clear. This movie sucks. DC movies suck. Okay? I have not liked a DC movie since The Dark Knight. Think about that. And I do not see myself liking a DC movie anytime in the near future. I hope I do. I don't say that with pride or happiness. And it's even to the point where the standbys, they're going to do a new Batman. You know what my response is to that? Jesus, another fucking Batman movie. Let me guess, is he going to walk around looking sad? I fucking hate DC movies. And you know what? Other critics can't say that. Other critics can't say they're biased because they get paid. I don't. I fucking hate DC movies. I'm not looking forward to Wonder Woman 84. I'm not looking forward to whatever these next fucking Batman movies are, or whatever piece of shit they decide to haul onto screens. They have proven that they have no clue what to do with their characters or how to manage it. Time and again, if the DC comic book characters were children, you would take them away from their abusive parent. I don't know what else to say about this movie. Everything sucks. What they did to Cassandra Cain sucks. What they did to all the characters, these great female characters who could have been something in great movies. You could have filmed whole movies around all these characters. fucked, 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 fucked. To be comic foils to one of the most fucking overrated actors working today. Final grade for this one, motherfucking F, folks. What'd you think it's gonna be? What a fucking waste of everything. Fuck this movie, fuck DC movies, and fuck Lunds. So, that's my opinion. I'm sure you can formulate your own. So, I think that's enough for today. But we'll be back. I have a 3-day weekend, and there's other great-looking movies out, so I can't wait. I'm sure I'm going to see something that will warm the cockles of my heart and teach me to love again. So, until next time, dear friends, drive safe, and I'll see you at the movies.